See what I can do here to rig this up. So professional over here at my mama's house. Yeah, that'll work. Oh, that's alright, I guess. So another Q&A. And this comes from subscriber T-Rex. I recognize you, T-Rex. You've been pretty active on my channel, which is one of the reasons I picked you. But I thought it was a real interesting question. So, and a very tough one, as you're going to find out, from through the eyes of Mike Gross. So, John Sykes or Dave Meniketti? Dave Meniketti from YNT. We're going to talk about Sykes first. I've got Dave over here. Okay? Both obviously fabulous guitar players, you know, without saying. I mean, they're really pretty flawless players, man. This is a real close one. I jotted down a little bit of information, wanted to talk about. A lot of this I knew, and some of it I didn't know. But just some random stuff, and then we'll talk about the playing, all right? So John Sykes, born in England, okay? And he's 56 years old. Bands he's played with. Now, I knew most of these. Street Fighter, I believe was his first one. That band I hadn't heard of. He's played with Street Fighter, Tigers of Pan Tang. Remember them? Thin Lizzy. Of course you remember Thin Lizzy. Blue Murder. Of course you remember Blue Murder. And, of course, Whitesnake. Woo! Man. Here is something interesting that I wasn't aware of. Did you guys know that he actually, when Randy Rhoads passed from Ozzy's band, John Sykes actually auditioned to fill that spot? And it's funny because on my Facebook, which you need to add me on, by the way, I do a lot of these Q&A related things on there too, to get my Facebook friends and a lot of them, well, several of them are you guys too. And what was the question? One of them was that I just recently posted was, if you could pick one guitar player, past or present, oops, we lost Dave, to fill Randy Rhoads' shoes, who would that be? So it was pretty cool. I actually read every single comment. It was really a long thing back and forth. As a matter of fact, it was a couple days ago, I think, and there's still people commenting on it. And some of the guitar players, it was just a broad spectrum. It was broader than I expected, you know, because I'm thinking to fill Randy Rhoads, you got to be somewhat stylistically in that same league as Randy. And that's a very tough, elite, small league of players, really. But when we're grabbing players, they're probably going to be coming from, you know, the school of 80s, right? So John Sykes had auditioned for Ozzy and didn't make it. And that made me want to slap Ozzy. I'm like, dude, really? You said no to John Sykes? Wow. But, you know, he ended up getting Jakey Lee, so maybe I should be quiet. I'm a huge Jakey Lee fan. Both Jake and Sykes are amazing. It's just, I would say Jakey Lee influenced me a little more. I remember when Bark in the Moon came out, that was actually one of my first albums, and just being mesmerized by Jake's playing. So I'm not saying Ozzy did wrong, by no means, you know, but still tough, you know. And this is another thing I didn't know. John Sykes also auditioned for Ronnie Dio. The first, you know, when he left Sabbath, he came out with his solo album, which was Holy Diver was the first one, and then he did Last in Line. And he ended up picking Vivian Campbell. Those two albums, I think, in my opinion, are Vivian Campbell's best work. Amazing, brilliant playing. I remember seeing him on this live Rock the Palace or something like that on TV as a young teen, and just like I knew it was Dio, but I'm like, who is that guitar player? I mean, Vivian, he was shredding, man. Really cool style. Now, Vivian always reminded me of Gary Moore, which I didn't realize till later when I started getting into Gary Moore, but you know, he's got some Gary Moore influence in his playing, no doubt. But you know, so John Sykes, you know, basically, you know, struck out with Ozzy and Dio. You know, and both those, like I said, wound up with great guitar players in those bands, but it had to be a hard decision, right? When you hear John Sykes play. Anyways, let me move along. Coverdale, you know, when I believe it was '87, right? That's when Whitesnake's huge album came out. Just amazing album. I mean, the best album in my opinion from Whitesnake. Um, and John Sykes was the guitar player on that album. I remember there being some confusion. It's like then there's a second guitar player, Adrian Vandenberg, right? So apparently there was some ego conflicts and personality conflicts going on. I don't know. Some type of soap opera drama. Coverdale fires the whole band. All of them. And he ends up bringing Adrian Vandenberg in, who, if you remember, Adrian Vandenberg played with Vandenberg prior to that. I got a couple of Vandenberg cassette tapes laying around. Great player too, you know. Really good player. And then he brought in Adrian Vandenberg to redo the guitar solo to what is the song, man? I can't remember, but he brought him in. Here I Go Again. He brought Adrian in for that. And that was it, you know. That was like my biggest exposure to John Sykes. And the dude just, wow, pretty flawless player, right? And if I'm not mistaken, because I just did a CBT lesson for one of my CBT students, Jason, and Forevermore, Whitesnake's recent album, Sykes is back with him again. I'm pretty sure. I should know this. Yeah, he is back with him. So that ego personality thing, they worked it out. So they're one big happy family again. You know, he's got Aldridge on drums. Aldridge has been with him for a long time. Don't get me going on Aldridge. Woo! His drumming on Speak of the Devil with Ozzy and Brad Gillis, man. And then he played with Pat Travers before, you know. I'm going too many places, huh? Let's switch over to Dave Meniketti. Man, okay. I remember right when I started playing guitars, it's probably around 82, 83. My brother, my older brother, who's 9 years older than me, you know, had come back with his friend John, and they'd been going to these parties and them talking about this amazing band Y&T with some amazing guitar player. And I remember him talking about the drummer, how fast he was on single bass and all that. So that's kind of how I got exposed to them. And then right around that time, also, they started to take off. You know, Dave Meniketti, Y&T was actually a band in '73. I didn't know they went back that far, but they were. He's been with Y&T from the beginning. He's 62 years old, born in Oakland, California. And I'm a Southern California guy myself. So he did, you know, Y&T. That was it. He did 3 solo albums. I think those took place in the 90s and maybe early 2000s. But he does have, I think, 3 solo albums out. And this, I did not know. And that's why I like doing these, because you guys make me research a little. I throw in my feelings and my input and how these guys influence me, how I feel about them as players, but I also gather up a little bit of information. And I'm learning. I'm not the dude from That Metal Show. You know, that dude is just a musical, amazing nerd that knows everything. I thought I knew a lot till That Metal Show came along. Dave Meniketti was asked to join Ozzy, Peter Frampton, and Whitesnake. Can you believe that? Whitesnake as well? How ironic that I was asked to do this Q&A, and we got a double Whitesnake going on. And the Ozzy thing. Now, it just says he was asked to join. That's all the information I got. And some other bands. That blew my mind. So let me talk about Dave for a second, and then we'll wrap this up. Dave Meniketti, I remember, probably 85. You know, I heard Mean Streak first, and I was like, wow, this guy's good. Really good. Good voice, too. And then it's like, wow, this is a 3-piece band to top it off. He's really, like, professional, polished, skilled on both departments, guitars and vocals. And so I heard Mean Streak, and then when that solo came up, I'm like, homeboy can play, no doubt about it. And, you know, then Summertime Girls, that was another big hit for them. That was a few years later. But I remember watching a concert, and don't quote me on the exact year, it was maybe 85, maybe 86. And it was a live concert. I forget where it was, but it was the anniversary of Jimi Hendrix's death. And Dave Meniketti, you know, he did a tribute guitar solo and dedicated it to Jimi Hendrix. And I got to hear Meniketti playing live. I think this was 85, man. And this solo was, oh my God, insanely good. I used to collect on cassette tapes guitar players from every rock metal band I could find, and I would have like a Carlos Cavazo would be Battle Axe, you know, and then maybe the next one would be the live version, and then a Brad Gillis guitar solo, and, you know, Dave Meniketti. I had like 3 tapes filled, you know, with all Matthias Jabs, Yobs, Eddie Van Halen, Rhodes, all that. But this solo, I still remember it. That's how much it impacted me. And if I could find it, I'll try and find it and link it for you guys. A lot of soul, man. A lot of emotion. I think Dave Meniketti's extremely underrated guitar player. I don't know why that is. The players, you know, the people that have been playing for a while in this realm, I think, acknowledge, you know, you can't listen to Dave and go, you know, I'm not impacted by his playing. I mean, something's got to be wrong with you if that's how you feel. But made the hair stand up, man, on me. And I had long hair at the time. Imagine. This solo was beautiful. His tone, just the right amount of delay on the parts that he was using. Very melodic, very soulful, very bluesy in a Hendrix way, and then very modern for the time with him adding his own style. He is the package. He's just amazing. I don't know if I'd say a package in the sense of tricks and stuff. He wasn't really ventured out into that, but he is a player. So hats off to Dave Meniketti. Now for the final. I'm probably going to go 51% Dave and 49 with Sykes. And, you know, they're equal, man. Let's face it, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Put them in the comments down below. Let's get it rolling again. I thought this was a great Q&A. It really made me think, because I really, really like both these guitar players. Just a little bit of an edge I got for Dave Meniketti. Seems like a great guy, too. Watched him in interviews. He's just a really nice, humble dude, and I'm a big fan of humble musicians. So, not that Sykes ain't. I'm sure Sykes is, too. But there you go. There's my opinion. So, let me hear your opinion down below. Let's get the conversation started. Let me know. Again, I do read your guys' comments. You know, I try to get involved and respond as much as I can. Subscribe to this channel. Hit the notifications icon, and then add me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And all that stuff will be in the description down below, okay? I'm using my iPhone, so there's no movie editing going through it. But make sure you do that. Keep your Q&As coming. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. If you're interested in private lessons, guitar, bass, hit me up. I teach on Skype around the world, and we can take your playing to the next level. And my wife teaches vocals as well, so if that's something that interests you. And until next time, I'm Mike Gross, bringing you the Q&A. John Sykes and the amazing Dave Meniketti. See ya. Yeah, boy.